You've seen these statements on the internet, and they are all true. Dogs are miracles with paws. Time spent with cats is never wasted. And we can judge the heart of a person by their treatment of animals. Now, given this, there are big hearts in our community. The Allen County SPCA has been providing a safe haven for homeless cats and dogs in Northeast Indiana for more than 65 years. And now initiatives called Angel Fund, Pet Promises, Compassion Foster, they're all helping animals and adults in new ways. And we'll learn more about how the Allen County SPCA serves pets and the people who love them on tonight's Primetime 39. And good evening, I'm Bruce Haines. With us today is Jessica Henry. She is the Executive Director of the Allen County SPCA. And we've saved a telephonic seat for you to join us in the conversation as well. Just call in with your questions and comments by using the number on your screen. And we did miss a total introduction here. Because as we're joined by Jessica, I'm going to have her do the honors.
This is Skylar, by the way. Hello, thank you so much for having me on
welcome.
and having Skylar and me on. Skylar is an 8-week-old male kitten. He is available for adoption at the Allen County SPCA, and he too is grateful for this opportunity.
And obviously not camera shy, so
not in the least.
We love him already.
We've been practicing.
We love him like that, and he is welcome to have that seat right there throughout the whole thing.
Perfect.
Which is terrific.
Yes.
How do you summarize 6 decades of service in this region?
Oh my goodness.
As an SPCA?
Well, I tell you what. We have grown exponentially, particularly over the last 10 or 20 years, and that's because animal welfare itself has grown over the last 10 or 20 years. Now it's actually very chic to adopt an animal. Would you agree? Everybody wants to save an animal's life.
Yep.
And there's a lot to be said for that. So in this community, where there are estimates of 16,000 free-roaming cats, or where there are so many dogs that it's a struggle to find homes for them, it's really important that organizations like ours and our coalition partners at Fort Wayne Animal Care and Control are here to help pets and the people who love them.
Wow. Now, you mentioned another organization, so let's do the overboard of
Sure.
those entities. Animal Care and Control, SPCA, ACSPCA.
Yes.
You spell it out even
Sure.
more for us. Yeah.
So the ASPCA is the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Yeah.
It's a national organization. We are not directly affiliated with them. Fort Wayne Animal Care and Control is another shelter here in Fort Wayne. It's a municipal organization. Think dog tags, city licenses.
Okay.
They're the folks out in the vans going around checking on animal health and behaviors, any issues that might be cropping up in the community with regard to animals and public safety where animals are concerned. They have a great adoption program. We also have a great adoption program that supports their situation as well. Because they get overcrowded, we want to go over and reduce their overcrowding by bringing their adoptable animals onto our floor and adopting them from the Allen County SPCA. So we really work in partnership, in tandem with Fort Wayne Animal Care and Control, though we're 2 separate entities.
Okay, so and how do the animals find their way to your doors in the hopes that they can find their way to someone else's front doors?
One of 3 ways. First is owner surrender. Some folks can, for one reason or another, no longer keep their animals in their homes, so they'll bring their animals to the SPCA. Secondly, we will go to Fort Wayne Animal Care and Control on a weekly basis, pull as many adoptable cats and dogs that we have space for, and that's very important. We only bring in animals for whom we have space. The third way is if Fort Wayne Animal Care and Control on a particular week doesn't have enough adoptable animals to fill our adoption floor, we will then go out to outlying county shelters and take animals from them, and that helps alleviate their overcrowding.
And if you were listening, we're still, I think probably all of us listening in here in the studio, 16,000?
Yes.
That number's still resonating.
It's a huge number, and of course it's a ballpark estimate, but that is based on a city our size and what we see nationally with regard to the amount of free roaming and homeless cats. Fortunately, in our community, we have a great community cat program. It's brand new. It's just a couple of years. It's been about 1.5 years that we've had this program, and it allows for free roaming cats, but we want to get them all spayed or neutered so that we're reducing the amount of breeding and unwanted litters that are happening with cats. We're going to try to stem the tide of those cats into the shelters.
And while we're speaking of this, and we can share this later in the show, but let's share it now too. Folks like Skylar they have their little bag packed and they are ready to go. Tell me what's going on at the shelter tomorrow.
Tomorrow is a big day. We are participating in a nationwide effort to adopt out as many animals as we can. It's called Clear the Shelters. We are extending our hours, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow, 8 hours, yours truly, and my staff, and lots of volunteers will be there. And there is a fee-waived adoption program in place tomorrow, so no fee for adoptable cats, which is very exciting. So kitties like Skylar are free tomorrow. You still have to go through the adoption process, of course, but we are waiving the fees in an effort to get these guys home, save their lives.
And I love how it's free and yet it's priceless.
Yes, that's exactly right.
If you can, there's cost and value because there is just such a and what I'm sure must be a challenge is that when some animals come to you, they are not necessarily turnaround ready for adoption. Tell me about Lloyd.
Sure. Wow. Lloyd came to us, it's been over a year ago now, and he was one of the toughest cases that we saw come into the Allen County SPCA. We're fortunate to have an angel fund there that helps in cases like this, when dogs or cats come in where humans have failed them. The angel fund enables us to really work hard to not only save their lives, but to rehab them and restore them. There's Lloyd there. He's an English sheepdog, but you can't really tell necessarily. He came in with such a horrible infection in his eyes and ears that he couldn't see, nor could he hear. And so it took several weeks of rehab and of course a good old-fashioned cleaning and bathing to really restore this dog to his full potential. But boy, I tell you what, that's probably our favorite thing to do at the Allen County SPCA. As difficult as it is to watch this imagery that you're seeing, I can't tell you how heartwarming it is to be there that moment that they find a forever home. It's life-changing for these animals, for their families, and for the people at the Allen County SPCA honored enough to be able to do the work that we do.
And the work that you do is 100% donation-based.
That's correct. We receive no federal or state or local tax funding whatsoever, and so it is it's critical that this community support us if they can, and just remember that when you are donating at the local level, you are helping local animals in need.
And as we go along, if it is at all possible, let's see the, if you will, the tail end, thank you, of the Lloyd piece, because as we saw the before, it would be great to show folks how Lloyd is now ready for his 15 minutes of fame.
Yes,
so as the opportunity presents itself, feel free to segue back, and this is bits of Lloyd.
Yes, that was Lloyd post haircut, and there he is. Very affectionate. And today we are still in contact with his adopters, as we often are with so many of our adopters, and they tell us that he has just been a beautiful addition to their family. They had a golden retriever as well, so they've got a golden retriever and a sheepdog and a very happy family.
As you are enjoying this time with us on Primetime 39 this evening with Jessica Henry, and the topic being the ASPCA, we invite you to give us a call with any questions or comments that you might have. And I could certainly imagine one which would be one of folks who may think they're seeing an animal in their community that feels abandoned or needs some kind of care and attention. How can they play that out to be sure that in fact that cause is legitimate and that the animal is able to move to a good spot? Sure.
So I think what you're talking about, and this happens a lot, we'll get calls in that we have an animal that might be neglected. Is that where you're going with that? Okay, great. So if you're inside the city limits of Fort Wayne, that would be a call to Fort Wayne Animal Care and Control.
That's care and control.
Yes, and that's where we would direct your call if you called us, because they have the authority, they have the jurisdiction to be able to knock on your door and say, we've gotten some calls, we're concerned about the animals in your care. That's why working together with an organization like them, we're able to really take a comprehensive approach and make sure that all the animals in our community have their needs met. Hi, sweet pea.
And if Skylar has any comment he would like to add at any time,
he'll probably utter it right into the microphone.
Yeah, so be ready in audio control. The grooming that does take place, tell me about volunteers and staff, and what I'm sure when you're working with pets can be a true rallying cry just by having them have their eyes look into your eyes.
That's right. And I think part of that too, you know, we have let me, if I could back up for just a second. The adoption program has been phenomenal at the Allen County SPCA. Whereas we used to adopt out 500 animals a year, we're adopting out more than 2,500 animals a year. And we have this great angel fund that allows us to take care of shelter pets that are in need. But what we're seeing out there is a huge community issue of animals who are owned animals, but they may not have the resources in their own homes to take care of their pets. And when we were getting those phone calls from people that needed assistance for their animals, we knew that nothing like that was out there. I wanted to get some training, I wanted to get some funding, and I wanted to put together a safety net or a lifesaver, if you will, for these animals. And so we created the Pet Promises program.
And let's share that experience. As Warner Wolf would say, we'll go to the videotape, and as that plays, take us on a tour as the tape is working.
Sure. So we are marking exactly 1 year since the inception of the Pet Promises program. And in the fall of last year, we offered our very first vaccine clinic as a component of Pet Promises. I wrote a grant to a wonderful national organization called PetSmart Charities, and they funded to the tune of $80,000 this initiative for us to work specifically in the neighborhood surrounding the Allen County SPCA. That's the 46806 zip code. Those are the animals and the people who are living in greatest need. We are able to provide 500 free spay-neuter surgeries, 4 vaccine clinics, and a multitude of other services to these animals. And in doing so, we know that not only are we reducing overpopulation at animal care and control, for example, because of stemming the flow of unwanted litters of puppies, but we are also creating a healthier community. These dogs and cats are being vaccinated against rabies or vaccinated against communicable disease. And then I think really best of all is the love in these pet parents' eyes. To me, loving an animal happens regardless of your socioeconomic condition, right? No matter where you're living and what standards you're living in, people are going to have animals. Your little girl's going to bring home a kitten, and you're not going to tell her no.
You came to our house.
Story?
You know that.
Why do you think I brought this kitten?
Replicated every in America.
So you'll see the love in these pet parents' eyes, and that's what's most important to us. And keeping those families intact is what Pet Promises is here to do.
And you have it become, I love it, a rescue wagon. That's WAGGIN apostrophe receiving shelter.
Yes, that's right. So also a part of the PetSmart Charities program is an opportunity for dogs that live in southern shelters in the southern parts of the United States where there are simply not enough adopters. They'll bring those dogs on beautiful, wonderful vans, pet transport vans, up to northern shelters where those animals stand a much better chance of getting adopted. And so we are a receiving shelter for the PetSmart Charities Rescue Wagon, and we're proud to say that the average length of stay for an adoptable dog is just 4 to 7 days. So whereas they might not be able to get a home in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, come on up to Fort Wayne and we'll find those dogs and puppies a great home.
And this was another dot on the graph that I'm sure was welcomed. That what, for the first time in history last year, services from Fort Wayne Animal Care and Control to intake dogs was not as heavily much in demand.
That's correct. So you're seeing a reduced intake for dogs, and you're seeing an increased live outcome for animals at Fort Wayne Animal Care and Control, and that's exactly what you want. We don't want all these animals coming into shelters, and we want those animals that are coming into shelters to get out and find their forever homes.
Love it. We'd like to welcome Angel to Primetime 39 this evening as we're talking with Jessica Henry with the SPCA. Angel, hi. Go ahead with your question or comment, please.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Angel.
I know as a nonprofit it can be difficult sometimes to make enough money to cover everything that you guys do. So I was wondering if you could share some of the events you may have or fundraisers that occur for the SPCA.
Oh, bless your heart. Yes, you're absolutely right. Because we are 100% donor funded, we have 3 signature events each year. And the next one that's going to be coming up is in the fall on October 8th, so mark your calendar. We also have lots of third-party events, wonderful companies out in our community that fundraise on our behalf. So the best place to go is our website. You can see what's coming up every single weekend, places where you can go, or you can donate right there on our website. But I appreciate your mentioning that, Angel, because it costs us almost $1 million a year to run the Allen County SPCA, and that's a big chunk of change because, again, taking care of 2,500 animals comes out to be about $1 per animal per day, and we all know it costs more than $1 a day to take care of our own pets.
You very much so. And so that, in fact, gets to a place where the shelter seems to have taken on, in a strategic sense, this idea that we want to be more than adoption.
Yes, yes. And I think once we started hitting those numbers where we were sending home 200 cats and dogs a month, that's when we really had to ask ourselves, what more could we do for this community? And again, that's when we came up with really reaching out through the Pet Promises program. And then we started thinking, you know, what more could we do even within the Pet Promises program? And that's when we came up with the concept of compassion fostering. And that's a whole new day for pet owners in our community.
Yeah, walk me through what that means.
Well, the first Compassion Foster phone call I got was in April of last year, and I was at an animal welfare conference. And the staff called and told me that they had a woman who was surrendering her two dogs because of a situation that was really no fault of her own. And in that moment, I thought I could take this lovely lady's dogs and put them on the adoption floor, or we might be able to hold on to them for a little while. The imagery that you're seeing on the screen now are photos of people being reconnected with their animals post-Compassion Foster. But the Compassion Foster program is 30 to 60 days. It gives pet parents living in crisis, women victims of domestic violence, for example, house fires, in certain cases, pet parents who've passed away, and families are just need a minute to kind of catch their breath and figure out what the next step is for the animals. The Allen County SPCA wanted to be the safety net for those families, so we created the Compassion Foster program, and since its inception, we've compassion fostered 59 cats and dogs in the last year, and it really has been a game changer for those animals. Keeping those families together and reuniting them is probably one of the most emotional things you'll ever see, sending a dog or cat back home with her pet parents or her pet siblings.
Which we, of course, have a little piece of video to share. This is what is known as a happy ending.
Yes,
Take a look.
it is. This is Sugar. The husband in this family passed away young. As you can see, that's a young family. The husband passed away young, and that little girl was everything to Sugar, and Sugar was everything to that little girl. And so when Sugar's mom called us and asked us at the point that they had lost housing whether or not we could take Sugar for a little while, we welcomed her. We spayed her, we vaccinated her, we got her all the flea medications that she needed. We took great care of that dog, even some behavior training. This doesn't mean you can bring me your dog, by the way.
Okay. All right.
But even some behavior training, and we returned a very healthy, happy Sugar to her family, and those are the greatest days at the Allen County SPCA.
I have also seen on the internet and seen it reported, so it must be true, that properly trained, a person can be a pet's best friend.
You're absolutely right. Most dog training is really all about training the pet parent.
Yeah. What has your time at the ACSPCA taught you about what simple suggestions or, if you will, basics, you know, to not just go in with so much emotion that you forget
Sure.
that there's
It's
the
really,
logistics thing.
You're right, and I think it's been difficult for me not to anthropomorphize these animals, not to look at them as human beings, not to talk to them in a language that I think that they understand, and recognizing that whenever you're yelling at your dog at home, your dog thinks, great, now we're all barking. So it's important.
I think you woke up Skylar on that one, but anyway.
It's important. I always highly recommend behavior training and behavior modification, reaching out to a professional pet trainer. But to answer your question, it really is trying to understand a pet's body language rather than thinking that it's speaking to me in human terminology.
And if we are coming home and we have a hard day, we need to take the time out and not, as they say, take it out. I mean, this is the same thing whether this is children or spouse or pets, but I'm imagining that there's the story too of someone who just did not know how to handle themselves at the end of the day, and the pet got
Sure,
the worst of it.
sure. And so obviously any time, I'll back up for a second. Anybody that has a problem with the temper or anger management shouldn't be a pet parent. Let's start with that. But in the case that you find that you are overstressed or that you're going to react inappropriately with your animal, that's the time that you would do it with anything. You need to take a break, you need to step back, you need to give yourself 10 seconds. And if you're talking about a dog, maybe it's time that both you and the dog took a walk together to cool down for you and to give your dog an opportunity for some fresh air and some bonding.
Yeah. That bonding opportunity, again, let's share what's happening tomorrow. And for folks that are so reactive and supportive of the Pet Promises and the Angel Fund and the Compassion Fostering, don't wait till 4:30.
No,
I
no,
assume.
you're absolutely right. I expect to see a line when I get there early tomorrow morning for this great opportunity. Again, this is a nationwide event, so we're very excited to participate with 400 other shelters from around the country. So we and 399 others will be there trying to find as many homes for adoptable animals as possible. And again, they'll still have to go through the adoption process. We are just waiving the adoption fee tomorrow for cats. Dogs will be the regular, usual adoption fee, and that's usually between $50 and $100 for dogs.
Okay.
But I do want to remind everybody that every adopted animal from the Allen County SPCA has been spayed or neutered, is fully vaccinated, has been microchipped, and has received this month's flea and tick prevention. So if that's not a value, I don't know what is.
No wonder she's taking a cat nap, it would seem. But with a big smile on her face.
Yes.
And now we know his face. And now we know why.
Now you know why. And you know what? By the way, we encourage you when you are thinking about adopting a kitten, and this really isn't like used car salesman talk. I promise you, we do recommend that you adopt two if you don't have any other pets in the home, because they will keep each other entertained for hours. I promise you that. If you don't have any pets, you're thinking about getting a kitten tomorrow, consider taking two. Besides, they're free. Now, they're not free for forever, as we know, as good pet parents, but
That's right. No such thing as a free kitten.
that's right.
On the other hand,
or a free anything.
or free anything. But yeah, great guidance. Great guidance. And here is a great question from Greg, who is calling offline, wondering if the ASPCA offers basic dog training.
We do not offer basic dog training. We offer basic dog training to the dogs in our care at the SPCA to prepare them to be great companion animals. However, Greg, you can always call the Allen County SPCA. We will direct you to some low-cost or full-service dog trainers here in Fort Wayne, or give you some advice on our own if we can help, because we do have some great behaviorists on staff. So if it's just a few questions that you have about basic training, we can help you through that. If you need something further, we'll direct you in the right area.
So as you move into your 66th year, what thoughts do you have for years like, say, 67 to 70?
Well, I want to think about making Fort Wayne an even pet-friendlier community by working with apartment complexes, for example, and landlords, because it's really difficult for some pet owners to find housing. I have a little of his fur, sorry about that,
I see.
to find housing in Fort Wayne. So I'll be working with those associations, and then really encouraging folks to get their animals out and about, get their dogs out in our community, and finding other ways that that they can enjoy all the members of their family, including their four-legged family members.
They are often the best, almost better than a gym membership as far as
Absolutely.
physical activity is concerned.
Absolutely, yes, you couldn't be more right. And so we encourage our community to be active pet parents, and active in every way, not just in the ways that you love your animal, but in the ways that you exercise them as well.
And while we wait for Tom's question to come online here, I want to ask about volunteer opportunities.
We have about 200 active volunteers at the Allen County SPCA, and that is never enough because we're out and about every weekend in this community. So we always need as much help as we can get. We have a volunteer coordinator named Mark at the SPCA, so give us a call. We have a monthly volunteer orientation that you can come to at the Downtown Public Library.
Okay.
And once you've gone through that orientation, you can pick one of many opportunities that we have, and we'll get you further oriented at that point, and then you can become a full-fledged volunteer at the SPCA. And we need lots of them.
There you go. So step forward. Tom stepped forward with his question. Are there any rescue places for special needs dogs? The ones that, for example, may be blind or have difficulty walking?
It depends. We take in some animals with some of those issues at the Allen County SPCA. I adopted my own blind dog from my shelter. So some organizations like ours will, but there are specific blind dog rescues, for example, blind cat rescues. That's an opportunity just to search the internet, Google those opportunities. Off the top of my head, it would depend really on what the ailment is in order for me to direct you somewhere specifically, Tom, but you can also reach out to us and we'll see if we can't answer some questions for you at the shelter.
And let's share where you can indeed find all that additional information from the Allen County SPCA. There is the address and the phone number and the website. And remember tomorrow's event. And in the spirit of equity, 2,000 years ago, cats were worshipped as gods. Cats have never forgotten this. Don't tell Skylar.
Skylar certainly hasn't.
Don't tell Skylar. And that the average dog, said Andy Rooney, is nicer as a person than the average person. Jessica Henry is the executive director of the ACSPCA. Thank YOU very, very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very much,
And thank
Bruce.
you, Skylar. Thank you for watching. For all of us with Primetime 39, I'm Bruce Haines. Take care. Give your pet a hug. We'll talk to you again soon. Good night.